Let's talk about meat, baby. Let's talk about how we eat. Let's talk about all the strong things that come from real protein. Let's talk about meat. Yeah, let's talk about meat. Look, fire on the grill, that's a power routine. Dripping with the flavor and it's still so clean. No crash, no cravings, no sugar in sight. Just a plate full of.
If anecdotal evidence is less than the studies, then you've just demoted yourself to the studies. I choose to promote myself with red fatty meat because it's healing and healthy all the time. I don't need a study to tell me it's not. I do what makes me healthy by being optimal with red fatty meat all the time, baby. Let's go!
Kijk even mee. 2 influencers, links eet koolhydraten, rechts niet. Zelfde oefening, zelfde gewichten. Zie jij verschil? Precies. Spierkracht komt uit het glycogeen en dat bouw je ook op zonder koolhydraten. Je lichaam maakt glucose aan uit je eigen glycogeenvoorraad via glycogenolyse. Daarvoor hoef je dus geen suiker of snelle koolhydraten.
Okay, we're in for another training session. Now, my message to you people is like this. I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. Every single one of you have the potential to do whatever you want. Every single one of you have the potential to be great and achieve what you want to achieve. Okay.
Tonight we have a little bit of a Christmas party, so we thought we'd just do a pregame, which means we fill up on our food before we go to the party and just get down to the middle of the challenge. So we decided to cook a whole eye of round, slow roasted in the oven. So we're going to have our meal, we're going to cut into this, but then we can take this later or keep it in the fridge. So this whole thing is going to heat up.
This is my first time tasting kangaroo. Wow, I'm excited to try this one, guys. Let's see. It's pretty rare. Wow, that's good. I don't even know how to describe it, really.
What's wrong?
Starmer raised the fucking heating bill again, so I'm fucking freezing. Just a hot chocolate, mate, it's freezing.
Sorry, mate, you've reached your daily sugar limit.
Thanks a lot, Labour.
Ben, how old are you? Why are you working?
Thanks to Labour, I'll be working until I'm back in 100, so might as well start now.
So, Ben, what do you think of your co-workers?
Don't know. Can't fucking understand them, mate.
Ben, where you going, mate?
Getting the fuck out of Britain, mate, full of illegals and furries.
Let's talk about meat, baby. Let's talk about how we eat. Let's talk about all the strong things that come from real protein. Let's talk about meat. Yeah, let's talk about meat. Look, fire on the grill, that's a power routine. Dripping with the flavor and it's still so clean. No crash, no cravings, no sugar in sight. Just a plate full of strength and a mind feeling right. Step in, you can feel it in your veins. Pop up energy, running with no change. No processed junk, no hidden cheats. Just big boy fuel from the king of meat. Say yeah if you know that heat. Say yeah if you vibe with beat. Say yeah if you're feeling elite. Come on, let's talk about meat. Let's talk about meat, baby. Let's talk about how we eat. Let's talk about hitting the gym with power under your feet. Let's talk about meat. Yeah, let's talk about meat. Hey, feeling that pump with a steak on deck. Focus on point, that's a natural flex. Brain locked in, yeah, the clarity's deep. This the kind of fuel that'll knock you off your feet. Look, simple ingredients, simple plan. Strong body vibes, that's a primal man. Standing tall, heart steady and neat. Life hits different when you're eating that meat. talk it up, real food, real game. Say it loud for the folks in the back. No plans running this lane, truth on the plate, rhythm in the beat. Say it from your chest. Now let's talk about me. Let's talk about me, baby. Let's talk about my heat. Let's talk about living clean and feeling stronger every week. Let's talk about me. Yeah, let's talk about me.
Ben, how was your first week at home?
Not great. Mum's on benefits and my dad got taken by the police for tweets.
We got some faces today. We got some guests. The carnivore community taking over worldwide. We got it. We got Jonathan. We got James. Peter's on a little break. We're going to get into this beautiful video that Jonathan produced. He put it out on his YouTube channel. We're going to get into the oldest pyramid right after. Let's get to it.
Is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking.
I can't even look at a carbohydrate.
Now that I think about it, we probably would.
That it doesn't make sense.
I was tired of the guessing games, faking health, playing diet names, low fat life, vegan soul, but deep inside I didn't feel whole. Then came fire, then came fat, steak on the plate, I bounced right back. No more crashing, no more drag.
You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion.
Looking forward to talking about this recent controversy. I've already been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Your fiber intake is fucking zero.
There is a constant in the calculation.
It is the most toxic fucking diet I have ever seen. Ever. It's not healthy. It is far from fucking healthy. Okay? It is the least fucking healthiest thing you could ever do for yourself.
It is Sunday. We are live. This is the Meat of the Matter podcast. We do appreciate you, Peter. He is taking care of his little guy today, so our thoughts and prayers are with him. He's getting filled in by a couple dudes here, a couple boys. We're gonna have some good chat today about some things. Mark's got some stuff to talk about. I think he sent me a video. We're gonna try and get to that if we can. And just a shout out to Carnivore Beats. We love you. Those intros, those pre-show sort of slide things. It's just to warm up the algorithm, get everything sort of the juices flowing. So we love you, Byron. Thank you. Go subscribe to the Carnivore Beats on the YouTube and TikTok. Also, the carnivore community worldwide is here representing it tonight, wherever you guys are, all over the world today. And we just want to bring on James and Jonathan. Thanks, boys, for being here. And James, I've been a big fan. I love your content. You bring such good energy to this. And Jonathan, I mean, you're the new guard. You're coming into it, buddy. And I love your work. And thanks. We really do appreciate you guys for being here and coming in and hanging out with us. How you doing?
Excellent. Great day.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, always a pleasure.
Mark, what's going on in Ireland, buddy? They're arresting putting teachers in jail for life. What's going on there?
Oh man, it's getting horrendous over here at this stage. Horrendous. It's just crazy. The world's gone bleeding mad.
That's crazy. So, boys, Jonathan, how's Norway?
It's a shithole.
What's going on?
Pretty much all the same stuff as everywhere else. It's just I think they're very good at making it seem like to the outside that this is some magical, wonderful place to live. But we have all the same stuff happening. There's pretty much no difference as far as I can tell. Oh man. And James, you're in Miami. You guys, you both met. You must be like the weather's all right for you.
Yeah, it's not bad right now. I got another, any day that I can go out shirtless is a day I'll take advantage of. So today
I love it, man. That's your stuff. I love it because it's just living the ancestral way, the primal way, and it's beautiful. I love your stuff.
Absolutely.
So go follow James, follow Jonathan, and of course Peter and Mark and myself. We're here every Sunday, and we thank you for being here. So you guys met at somewhere, didn't you? Norway,
in
US.
Tampa.
Right on. We met.
Tell
Hack
us
Your Health.
What
a great conference. I got to say, it was a great conference. It's growing since last year. It's already grown, and it's expected to grow even more in the next year. But my absolute favorite part was hanging out with people that we communicate with online. So Jonathan and I, and among others, we're all hanging out. I know you, Jonathan, made and worked with Dr. Kiltz as well. But I'll speak from my perspective. It was just fabulous to sit and literally have conversations with Jonathan, and even talk about other carnivores in the space. Like, just, hey, I can agree with or disagree with this carnivore and their approach, but in the end, we're all on the same team. So it's a great conference.
Right on. And John, and what was your impression of it, Jonathan? Now we get a chance to talk to you.
Yeah. My impression. First of all, I'm noticing definitely that the carnivore thing. It used to be called. Is that the one that used to be called KetoCon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could definitely feel in the air and just notice with the booths and the talks and everything that carnivore is taking over the whole thing. Even though you have the whole spectrum, but it was pretty obvious that it was dominating. And also, just I didn't even really, honestly, barely went to any talks because it was such a great time just hanging out with everyone and meeting people that I've only talked to online. Just hanging out with the like-minded people, and being in a space where everyone just understands. You don't have to like start off by explaining yourself all the time because people understand what it's about, and it didn't even, like, most of the time we weren't even talking about nutrition or lifestyle or diet. It was just random stuff and just hanging out, having fun.
I know Zane was there. How did you approach that one?
Can I tell our story, Jonathan, of dinner, Dr. Kilt's dinner?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Jonathan will add to this, but just to scene setter here. So it's Friday night. Dr. Kiltz is having a dinner that Jonathan and I are sitting next to each other, and there's 2 or 3 open chairs across from us at the table. And suddenly Zane walks up, and of course it's Kiltz, who's like, Zane, sit right here. I'm telling you, here's the chair. He's like pulling it out the chair, and Zane is just looking at Jonathan and I, knowing the communication that we've had on social, and that it wouldn't be probably an agreeable conversation. And
Wow.
he was very, did not want to sit with us, even though
he didn't even look at us. He didn't look at us. He pretended like we weren't there and just looked into the air instead of acknowledging our presence. So
wow, he's an expert, right? Expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's awesome.
as far as I remember, he was kind of like just trying to subtly, without being really subtle to our perspective, and being like, oh, you guys can come here and sit instead, when Miss Meat Christina and her mom came, and he was like trying to, oh no, you guys can sit here, I'm fine, I'll find somewhere else. And you could tell he was just trying to get away from the whole thing, and he seemed so uncomfortable. He seemed stressed. He seemed he seemed unfocused. Really,
his gluconeogenesis was stressing him out. That's why.
True. Exactly. Well, and the thing I told Jonathan, and I say this commonly, is like, confidence. Your real confidence is at 0 feet away, or however many meters you want to use internationally. That's when real confidence shows up. And I didn't sense a lot of that at all at 0 feet. I could see it online and say that X, Y, and Z, which I clearly disagree with a lot of things that he says. He has the right to say what he wants, but the confidence, whether it was at the conference or at the restaurant trying to sit across, it just wasn't there. And I'm not going to claim anything against the guy. I just think like seeing someone's online personality versus them in person is completely different.
Yeah. That's interesting. Mark, what would you have done? I can just imagine you.
No, but I find it amazing that he comes up close to these people like yourself, Jonathan, and yourself, James, and he won't have this conversation, because this is what really frustrates me, is that he's only talking to his niche. He's only talking to people that actually are on his side, but he won't talk to somebody who's, that's really strict about carnivore, and he just pushes it to the side. So I thought he would have at least made the effort to have at least a conversation, and you guys would have worked in harmony, but obviously he's not one of those people.
I would have thought he would stand up and give a speech and explain himself to why he did that. I don't know. That's.
I mean, he also walked around with a T-shirt that said something like "Pour sugar on me, baby" or something like that. And I heard from people who sat at the table he ended up on that he sat in what was obviously like a carnivore dinner. He sat there eating potatoes and shit. So, yeah.
Madness, crazy.
Yeah, he was obviously just trying to be provocative or something.
Right.
Yeah, trying to stir up and stir the pot. Yeah.
Potatoes despite everybody, right?
Was he the only one eating carbohydrates, or was there anybody else doing it?
I mean, there were people having like small things, like people who aren't strict carnivore, but as far as I know, there weren't like any other sugar addicts that I could see.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting as well. Like, I know there's been some back and forth with Dr. Kiltz, but even watching him eat across and maybe 2 chairs down, he was eating carnivore at least that evening. Now, obviously, he admits that from time to time, that's his great quote, that he'll go out of the carnivore space and eat other things. That's fine. But I think the only person I think even Lisa Wiedemann was eating cheese. I didn't see her eating carbs. But again, I wasn't sitting next to her, so.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, something happened to you, buddy. Maybe tell people what happened to you. Your introduction to the U.S. What happened?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the day after I arrived, so I was on my way to the conference center to like the day before the actual conference started, because I was on like Dr. Keltz's team helping with stuff, and I was on my way to help set up the booth and stuff, and I'm 5 minutes away from this center, and then I'm walking across the road like on a crosswalk. It's my turn and everything, and suddenly from the side, a car comes, hits me, and yeah, the car explodes, and
of course it
does. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but Brian made like an AI photo of me just standing there again, and the car. I was just standing there, steady on the ground, and the car ran into me, got wrecked. But yeah, and actually, what's interesting is when I was hit by the car, I kind of flipped over and ended up on my head. My head got dragged along the ground, and I remember all of it happening because I didn't even pass out from it. And I just got straight up into the side of the road, and I just like imagine if I were vegan or something. I don't think my skull would have been sturdy enough. It would have been too frail probably to handle something like that, and I would have probably passed out. But I mean, I think carnivore actually helped me survive that situation. Honestly,
of course, man, healing like a Wolverine. That's it.
Yeah.
I told Jonathan as well to speed up the recovery, get a frozen block of steak and just stick it on the head.
Get real close to that ribeye. That's it. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, boys, what I wanted to talk to you about was, Jonathan, your video was I was watching it, and I mean, I've been led into these questions. Everybody's sort of questioning, like, and it started with me with nutrition, like wondering how the hell we were so wrong. And as you trace it back into history, ancient history, it appears that this stuff isn't new. And I just want to like jump right into your video. And boys, we can stop it at any time. We're just going to play this. And Jonathan, if you want to walk us through it, by all means, the mics will be on. But I think anybody in the chats, if you haven't seen the video, great presentation, because it starts to make you think, really. And coming from us in the carnivore space, all the ammo you can muster is usually a good thing. So we'll just get right into it. If you guys are okay with that, and
people today think problems with heart disease,
so let me know if you guys want me to pause
and metabolic issues
Jonathan,
are modern, caused by junk food, chemicals, and the last few decades of bad advice. But if you zoom out and actually look at human history and compare different civilizations and their diets, a much clearer pattern emerges. Some ancient populations thrived, others did. And the biggest difference usually comes down to what they built their diet on. One of the clearest examples is ancient Egypt, a civilization people love to romanticize as wise, advanced, and healthy.
All right, buddy. So what inspired you for this? Because like, man, I've said it before. Like with your interview, if anybody's missed interview with us and Jonathan and me and Jonathan, actually, your wisdom is well beyond your years, bro. So what sort of drove you to making this video?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a situation of, you know, as many of us have realized, there are a lot of things in this world you actually just can't explain. You don't have a clear answer, and I think it's that sort of thing here. I don't know what drove me to this, but I think I don't know. It started with me having a feeling of needing to like change directions of how I'm presenting or getting this message through. And I was so fucking sick of like all this like throwing rocks back and forth, like, oh, this study, oh, this little mechanism in the body, oh, the oxalates, whatever, the carbohydrates, fiber, and I was just feeling sick of all this modern science garbage that I just don't care for, and it's just messing with everyone's brains, and I think we shouldn't even refer to it. It's even though we might need to because people are kind of stuck in that way of thinking, so it might be needed as a bridge. But I think, yeah, I was just in a state where I was really like just deep inside myself, just thinking, you know what? I want to disconnect from all those stupid modern social media, fast-paced social like videos, trying to be like as I don't know the word, but like you get what I mean, right? I wanted to get away from all this modern social media, all this modern science, all this trash that I don't think is worth even paying attention to. And I think it just over time led me towards, because I had some videos once in a while where I did like a history thing, and I noticed people really loved it and people got the point. And also, I noticed eventually I was enjoying it a lot more myself. And I feel like it got the point across. I feel like, yeah, it was just better. And then suddenly, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something like that, I made this short video about Egypt, and I just it just sparked something in me where I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to keep running with this concept, this method, this strategy of getting this message out. And this happened like just a few weeks after I changed my handle on social media from like the Norse carnivore or whatever to ancestral clarity, because I already felt like this like name or whatever you want to call it was more representative of the whole thing, is because it's not just the diet, it's everything else as well. And I feel like it just captured the whole movement. It kind of builds that feeling instead. You know, when I started all this stuff, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I had no plan. I just wanted to share what worked for me. But then over time, of course, you kind of spiral into questioning absolutely everything you've ever been told and realize most of it probably is total bullshit.
Yeah.
And also many of the things we just don't have the answers to, and maybe we never will. And that's fine, but I want to explore the ideas anyway.
Awesome.
I think it's worth thinking about. And yeah, so I just ended up there. For some reason, I just woke up like 1.5 weeks ago or something like that, and the second I woke up, I started looking deeper into this Egypt thing. I started looking for books. I went to the library. I found old books, started reading through them, like old accounts.
Real books.
Yeah. Like the ones I have here. No, you can't see them, can you? But No, and also looking at, I mean, how they've scanned the mummies and all that sort of thing, looking
Yeah.
at some modern science, of course, because it helps connecting all the dots.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I was here where I've just been thinking ever since. I'm like, why do we even need all these studies? We don't need to perform these stupid studies. They don't mean anything. Just go back in time. All these experiments, all these
Are already. Yeah.
real life observations. Isn't that what science is supposed to be?
Yes.
You look at
Yeah.
what happens in real life, observe it,
And-
and then you draw conclusions. All those
Yeah.
experiments, they've already been done. Like 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million years ago. They've already been done. Just go look
And
at it. Just go look
we-
at it. You don't need to study it now.
We know how Mark feels about the science. I know probably if you're listening to us, you know how I feel about the science. James, in the pre-show, if you missed it, go back. How do you feel about the science and studies, James? Because this kind of ties into what we actually put on that little clip.
Yeah, well, I think they're overpriced opinions. That's really what they are. They're just paid for by friends of friends, and then they get peer reviewed by their other friends as a handshake agreement. There's little foundation to when people say it's a peer-reviewed study. Okay, I'm going to go the other way. I'm not listening to that. I think, as Jonathan said, it's clearly observation is the first step in science. And what Jonathan has done here is he's taking actual observation and compounded it to come to a consistent conclusion. So you kind of repeat and find an observation and repeat. And if you get a very direct conclusion, a very consistent conclusion, that's actual science. Like Jonathan's doing the work that so many people just want to wake up, go on their computer, type in the US at least, like a .gov website and say, that's the science. Woo, I feel bad for you.
Good luck out there.
Right.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah.
And Mark, just refresh us on how you feel about trusting the science.
Well, James had a good interview with Victoria a few weeks ago, and something that I picked up on that what he said, and I use it in most of my videos. He mentioned that he is the science, and that's pretty much that just sums it up for me. I mean, at the end of the day, you know how I feel about the science. I go on about this all the time. I get really angry about it because this is all I hear from people. People always say to me like, "Listen, the science says this, the study says this," and I'm like, well. What about real people? I only did a video on this today. I'm like, why can't you not just listen to people that are in this space that are actually doing this? What's wrong with just listening to these people? Like this I'm like Jonathan. This when I hear this, it just gets me really angry. It just pisses me off, and I have to shut off as well because I just cannot have a conversation with these people.
Right on. Yeah, well, I mean, I think this ties into like it's so you mentioned points there, Jonathan. Thinking, God forbid we think now, and it doesn't take rocket science to just look at some whatever you want to call it evidence and just like connect the dots. And then when you reference that to the people like all of us are doing it. Do you need somebody to experiment on a human cell to tell you that this way of eating, this philosophy, this lifestyle is not sustainable, is not bad? We need a scientist to tell us that? Hell no. And I think all of us project that pretty well, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a study that claims, oh, we're gonna get cancer, heart disease, whatever it is, gut issues from eating this way, but every single story you hear is the exact opposite. Well, maybe there's something wrong with the fucking science. Right? Maybe that's the problem. But I mean,
we're gonna get into it a little bit more because we're only a minute into this, Jonathan. So let's continue. Let's get it, and we'll keep commentary as we go.
But when you look at what they ate and what their bodies looked like on the inside, the truth completely destroys the modern idea of what healthy eating is supposed to be. And strangely, their diet looks almost identical to the food pyramid we still follow today. Let me show you. The ancient Egyptian diet wasn't mysterious or exotic. It was simple and honestly pretty close to the official diet guidelines we're encouraged to follow today. Here's what their diet looked like. Wheat and barley as the main staples, bread, porridge, cakes, beer, vegetables like onions, leeks, beans, and lettuce, honey as their main sweetener, various plant-derived oils, and very limited.
Okay, I want to stop it there, buddy, because like, you know, when you're starting to point all this out, like we've said this before, I say this all the time. It's like, if you can get your head out of your ass and look at what the food you're eating, it's peasant food. This is food to feed starving people. This is not, we're not supposed to be sustaining our optimal nutrition on this stuff. And what you just pointed out there, you're right. It looks a lot looks familiar here. So
Yeah.
what Mark, is this the first time you've seen this?
Yeah, I watched it earlier, because I wasn't aware of this. I had to click into it earlier on and watch one of the videos. But yeah, I wasn't aware of this as well. This is why I was eager to get Jonathan on.
Yeah, no doubt. Anything to add, James?
Yeah, I think obviously observation, it's also a mind game. I look at these foods, and if not only on video here, but I look at these foods, these grains, these breads, even these vegetables and fruits, okay, even lettuce. Look at this food and actually tell yourself there's actually nutrition there. You really have to question your own mind to think that you're so brainwashed that you have to do, like you said, Tony, the simple thinking, the critical thinking. Is this really nutrient-dense food? Is this little strip of lettuce going to bring me actual nutrition? Is this onion going to? Is this bread? What is it made from? How was it made? Is grains? What do you feel when you eat these foods? Do you have gut disruptions? Most likely, yes. I mean, so many people do. So many people have to ferment and soak beans and legumes. All these things that we know, but we know are also admitting that they're not native to the way humans should be eating. Yet, when we eat meat, if you ask yourself the simple questions, even raw, yes, Jonathan, you eat lots of raw meat. I've gotten more into it. Is the healthiest form of the food. So when I hear people talk about, oh, well, you just wait because you were lucky that humans found fire to cook meat. Oh no, not lucky. That's just for flavor, okay? Raw meat is acceptable for humans and optimal is what I meant to say. So I'll stop right there because I can get fired up.
Before I get your take, Jonathan, here, you said a good thing there, James, because all these foods, in and of themselves are disgusting without anything. All of them. You need nutrition on top of them, with them, on them, whether it's butter, whether it's sauce, whether it's something. You do not just, we do not eat lettuce. I mean, some people want to argue and say that, yeah, you're a lettuce. Sure. No, you don't. And you don't eat a baked potato without butter and sour cream, okay? You just don't. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Jonathan, what are you thinking?
No, I think we're already starting to see a little bit of a pattern, aren't we?
Yep. Should we
It's
let
almost
it play?
it's almost like, I'm just gonna leave this little comment here, that it's almost like there's been a conscious effort for quite some time.
Yeah. Interesting, eh? All right. Let's let it fly. I love it.
Usually reserved for the rich or special events. Peasant, which the majority lived almost entirely on grains. If this is starting to sound familiar already, it should. But hang on, because the results tell the full story. And here's something most people have never heard. One of the oldest medical documents in the world, the Ebers Papyrus, written around 1550 BC, contains what appears to be the first recorded description of diabetes. They didn't have the modern word for it, of course, but they described symptoms like excessive urination, wasting, and thirst. Classic signs of what we now recognize as metabolic disease.
Whoops. What
Wow.
was that?
Oopsie.
What's going on there, Jonathan?
No, yeah, that sounds awfully a lot like diabetes. Yeah, so I found a copy of this Ebers Papyrus, and I looked at it like a translation. But yeah, these are the things they're describing. I mean, among like uh, some medicine and stuff at the time, but like observations like this, and yeah, I think it really puts into question the ideas we have now of where these sort of diseases come from. That it's just genetics, or I think one of the reasons I framed this video the way I did is I think a lot of people right now are seriously distracted by red color 40, by the only issue is the junk food. Well, before I started eating only meat, I was severely depressed, anxious, had IBS, skin issues. I wasn't eating processed food. I was eating this pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, which is what they tell. This is what they tell us to eat. So yeah, I just want my intention is just putting out the information, telling you the information, trying to not put any personal opinions into it. Just take the information for what it's worth, and yeah, draw your own conclusions. But I think it's pretty evident what's happening right here. It's obvious that it's not just the junk food, it's not just these artificial ingredients that are the problem, considering people had these issues already thousands of years ago, following the same guidelines pretty much as what we're following now.
Yeah. James, anything to add?
Yeah, very similar, because I was clean keto, not eating much junk food or processed food at all. And I still had so many issues, mental or physical, so gut disruptions or mental disruptions as well. I was prescribed, I don't like using that word anymore, but prescribed medications for depression, anxiety, while eating clean food. So again, Jonathan's point is exactly right, because as the experiment I'm pointing at myself, have experienced those issues. And one last comment here is we have to see the forest beyond the tree. So talking about the red 40 is great, but it's, and I will jump into processed foods, but just saying like we're removing color dyes from food has nothing to do with the processed food still existing.
Yeah, what is most of that thing made up of anyway? Probably grains. Probably grains. Yeah.
I'm actually saying this with two friends of mine. Two friends of mine are bodybuilders, and it's supposed to be the healthiest diet in the world. Both of these are type 2 diabetic. They both of them are.
Interesting.
And these people don't eat any processed food whatsoever. They just eat rice, grains, oats, all that, lots of fruits, and both of them are type 2 diabetics.
No kidding. I mean, yeah, that's a big one. I mean, the red dye 40, it's a mask for something that's still not good. I mean, Jesus, you can go back with the GMO crops, the monocrop agriculture, pesticides, herbicides, just the food itself, just being what it is, a grain. You know what I mean? Like we don't talk about it, and I love it that you're sort of pointing this out. And man, there's so much to say, but let's keep going. I want to get into. We actually have a clip later about diabetes that will be interesting to get your guys' take on it, but we'll foreshadow that one.
Think about that. A grain-based society living on bread, beer, honey, and plant foods, already showing early signs of the exact same metabolic problems we see exploding today. This is thousands of years before the modern seed oil, sodas, and ultra-processed foods. The foundation of their diet alone was enough to start causing damage. And when scientists began running CT scans on Egyptian mummies, the results shocked the medical world. They found atherosclerosis, clogged arteries, even in people in their 30s. And by age 40 to 49, more than half of them had significant plaque buildup.
So, not nowhere, never especially when I was in school, did they ever talk about the metabolic health of mummies? Let alone, you know, like what you're kind of putting this all this mystery and glory behind ancient Egypt. Not one time, never. And I promise you, if you said this to a doctor, they'd be like, "Where's your proof?" That they would say something along those lines.
Well, that's why I put these photos in so people can see it's actually from real statistics or studies or whatever you want to call it. Because people are going to point that out if I don't put it there.
Well done. Well done. Yeah. Cite your sources, buddy. I love it. Right on.
These people weren't dying old. They were dying with diseases we associate with modern lifestyles. And to be clear, Egyptian mummification wasn't limited to just elites. Lower status individuals were also preserved, sometimes naturally or with simpler methods. In many cases, archaeologists can't even determine someone's exact sex. Findings most likely reflect a broad pattern across the population. But it wasn't just heart disease. Other signs included poor muscle development, nutrient deficiencies, bloated stomachs despite being thin, tooth decay, crooked teeth, and weakened skeletal structure. And if you look at Egyptian art and sculptures, you see the same pattern of metabolic disease there too. A lot of figures actually have soft bodies, pot bellies, and even what looks like gynecomastia. And
Okay. We're getting deep into this one.
That's a big one.
Okay. Okay. We're all men. We're what do you mean? What do you mean? Bill Gates boobs? What's happening here? You know what's interesting when you're going down this road is that whole did everybody see the Game Changers?
No. Oh yeah, I did watch it. Yeah. The Netflix documentary. Yeah.
Well, it sort of reminds me of the preaching that the gladiators ate barley and they loved it, like it was their food to make
they
their
were
bellies
fat.
big. Yeah, they were, and it was like you look at it from that different perspective. And Jonathan, it's awesome that you're pointing that out here because there's so many cross references in history. Like if you just look at the Weston A. Price Foundation and the book that Weston A. Price, he did what you're doing all around the world, looking at teeth and looking at different these indigenous peoples. The further away from the West they were, the better their health. So it's lovely that you're putting this all together, buddy. Anybody else want to add anything, or can we continue?
Let's go.
Remember, this was a population that did manual labor every single day. So what went wrong? Now let's look at the modern food pyramid. What does it tell us to build our diet around? Grains. Lots of grains. Bread, cereal, pasta, rice, the exact same foundation the Egyptians relied on. Then we have...
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, if we all saw this when we were in school, and we could actually be taught this without any confirmation bias, without any, just actually what it is, do you think that would change your perspective now? Guys? Mark?
Yeah. I couldn't hear you, Tony. What'd you say?
Oh, shit. I just said, if they were teaching this, can you imagine if they taught us this in school or when we were younger, and without the confirmation bias, without any of the sort of prejudices that we have now, or our modern day stuff, how would you guys feel about that? Do you think that would have affected you and your diets today?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Yeah. Would have been a lot healthier for one, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I love this scientific study, Jonathan, because that's what it is. Compared, I'm going to reference to my own experience as a human being. And when I would walk into my classrooms in elementary school and middle school, I would see the food pyramid on a poster in every single classroom. I don't know if that was the same for you all. And it was reinforced with the foods that we were, obviously you go to school, you're basically locked in a building and, from 8 until 3 p.m. every day, once you're in, and they control the food. and it was reinforced with what we were eating. If I arrived early for breakfast, it was the cereals, it was the low-fat milks, it was the added sugar foods, processed foods. And you go to every classroom, and then this is what you see every day. So definitely disagree with it. Yeah.
And this is what you see when you go into a doctor's office. The first thing you see is the food pyramids. You ever notice that? In every doctor's office that you go into, you'll always see a picture, a frame with the food pyramid. And I notice this in my own hospital at the moment as well. Every corridor you walk down, you'll always see a picture of the food pyramids. Always in hospitals.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse with the MySpace. Sorry, guys, my internet might be glitching out here. I don't know. It seems like anytime we talk about controversy, it glitches, which is
interesting.
Jonathan, anything?
Sure. I had something in the back of my mind, but it flew out.
Well, it will come back because you don't have grain brain, so you're good.
Vegetables, fruits, plant oils, with meat and animal foods being at the very top, the stuff you're supposed to eat very little. Exactly like ancient Egypt. Obesity, inflammation, immune issues, mental health problems, weak bone structure, and dental issues in kids as young as 5. This isn't a coincidence. This is the same dietary pattern producing the same biological outcomes. Obviously, if you give humans the same inputs, you get the same results. To understand what humans should look like, you have to compare the Egyptians not to today, but to other humans living the way we evolved. Meet the hunter-gatherers, the people who lived closest to nature, and they had straight teeth, strong jaws, perfect bone structure, virtually no heart disease, no diabetes, low inflammation, high fertility.
But what do you say, guys, when they say but they didn't live very long?
That's a BS.
I love to hear your thoughts.
Rubbish.
I always say this actually. Number one, go do your own research. Don't watch some propaganda YouTube video and some propaganda study that cut them at the knees, the infant mortality rate, clear that out, and then go visit or go find a YouTube video and look with your own eyes at people who are 80, 90 years old and living as modern day hunter-gatherers. Do that. Don't rely on just the BS that you want to regurgitate and believe in to try to reinforce your, really unfounded, unproven belief that grains and vegetables are where it's at.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think, when you look at how they got stats and who started census things in the Roman times or whatever, you look at the average life expectancy because people die fast, let alone childbirth and the dangers of infection and stuff. So the average lifespan is an average. It doesn't make sense when you have infants dying compared to somebody living till they're 130, 120. Well, that average expectancy is 40 years old. So it's like, in that you can just see the flaws in that logic if you're going that way. And we put these things in the words. And every time I say that, someone says, well, they didn't live long back then. So, I mean, Jonathan, I love it that you're pointing that out.
Yeah. It might add too. I mean, if we think about this literally, every day, if people died at 30 years old, were they having kids at 14? Because how are the kids going to be raised? Is every kid just raising themselves at 14 years old, 15 years old? No, it's not. We didn't just evolve to even today dying at 70 and having our parents around for, those number of years. So I think that's another observation that we really need to consider. Again, that's not proven, but just think about it. Think critically. Oh, if they died at 30, what would that mean for kids growing up?
Yeah. I mean, just to get people thinking about it themselves instead of just taking our words for it, right? You shouldn't just trust us on this as either. If all these things you're hearing about, oh, they didn't live for long, they got heart disease, cancer, whatever. If they were true, would you really be here today?
Well, that might be another podcast, boys, because where we're going back. That's the problem. I think a lot of this stuff, if people don't start realizing this stuff, I mean, you know, we're not in a good way. When you look at somebody, actually, I'd love to get your guys' take on this. I actually watched this statistician. She was talking about the Chinese population, and she says it's impossible for them to have that many people. It's impossible. She went back in history to when, you know, they did their big revolution and the Mao thing, and she put in, like, from the whatever billion people they have now, they had a one-child policy rule for, like, you know, 50 years. And then, you know, in order to get to this number, they had to have 5 kids per family. Well, that's not happening anywhere in the world anymore. So how is it possible for that? And that's just interesting, because I don't know if I trust any population numbers anymore, because the math doesn't math, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I agree.
I've heard similar. I've heard the numbers are highly inflated.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like people, that whole thing about you talking about this, Jonathan, feeding starving people. I mean, hey, we went all local seasonal and had our own little plots of land. I think we'd all be a lot better off anyway. All right. Did you have something to say, Jonathan? Sorry, man, my internet's glitching like crazy. Apologies.
I had something to say that, I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility that it could be used to, like, perpetuate this idea that we have to do all these things we're being told we have to do in regards to a bunch of different things in the world. They could definitely be lying about how many people we are to, like, keep that narrative going, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look in I think statistically, like, don't quote me on this, but in North America, it's like 0.7 children per couple now. What is that? Wow. That's not a good forecast for the future generation.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar here in Norway as well, actually.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody with the evil Bill Gates saying that they're already doing it, and I believe that, like, with our diets and our, like they've already started all this stuff they're telling us they're going to do. They've already started, and it's frightening. And that could be a reason why they don't like us carnivores too much.
They don't like us at all, because we have exposed them clearly.
No doubt. All right, let's get. We can go there.
Physical resilience and lean muscular bodies. And why is that? Because their foundation wasn't grains, it wasn't plant oils, it wasn't honey or bread. Their foundation was animal foods like meat, fat, and fish. And we know this isn't guesswork, because stable isotope analysis, which measures the chemical signatures preserved in ancient bones, shows that early humans ate mostly meat, and in many cases scored even higher than wolves and other carnivorous animals.
But that's not real science.
And this is something they did without following any guidelines. They simply followed their biology and instincts. And here's the part most people never think about. Human biology was shaped long before agriculture. For over 99% of human history.
That is a fantastic point, Jonathan. Like, that right there, you know, we can't argue with our biology, man. And it seems like all 4 of us, at least in this, and I know quite a bit in the people in the chats, our biology is doing pretty good, you know, compared to just a few short years ago. My biology is like, James, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Never felt better by doing the exact and extreme opposite of what we've been told. I went on a camping trip for here in the U.S. at Thanksgiving holiday. And when I say camping, we had backpacks. We're moving miles into the wilderness. And I guarantee you, I didn't see one bit of edible food, especially in November, up in even San Antonio, Texas, which is a little bit further south, which some might claim would be a little bit warmer. It was about 60s at night and I'm speaking Fahrenheit, 60s at night, 80s in the day. I saw animals though. Like, let's just be clear. This is, to Jonathan's point, this is how we evolved and lived. Go out in nature, skip the grocery store, go live the life that you're preaching, you know. And I'm not claiming that I'm a hunter. Like, I don't actually go out and hunt, but if I had to go hunt, I'll raise my hand and go do it right now, because that is how I will survive. That is the survival technique that our ancestors lived by.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, James, because I've talking to a bunch of carnivores and learn, like, in this community, in this space, when we start talking, I don't know one single one that would not kill their own food, let alone go hunt for it. Almost all of them, every single one would, you know, of course we've got our modern lives and we're trying to navigate this. But I mean, once you get that sort of mindset in your head, I would have no problem doing that. And people argue with me. They're like, no, you wouldn't be able to do it. I was like, I would be able to do that. Like, thank you very much. And that's,
I just want to add to that, because I've mentioned this on some podcasts before with people, or just talking with people in messages and stuff privately, that I feel like I've heard a lot of people report this, that when they've been on carnivore for a while, a few weeks, some months maybe, depending on where you come from, people report, I've felt this as well, I think all of you have felt it, that there's almost this feeling of dormant instincts, intrinsic, like internal instincts, that you were not aware these things inside of you exist. But suddenly they're there. Suddenly they just wake up, and you can't really explain it, but it's there. Right? And that's, it kind of goes full circle with all this stuff. I mean, there's no study to tell me this is a thing, but it's there. I know it's there. I don't need a study to tell me I'm feeling this thing, experiencing it, right? Because it's there. We don't need science to describe all these things. We can just experience the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally. And I mean, I think everything changes when you start with, like, I mean, man, I say a prayer to my food every time. I'm so thankful for the nourishment. I've been blessed to be able to reclaim my health, and I don't take it for granted. And I think every time I'm trying, you know, just doing my part to buy from farms. I would love to go hunting, but you think Canada could just allow hunting at any, like, yeah, right. It's not going to happen. They're taking away guns. They're taking away all of y'all. Funny enough, maybe coincidentally, they're doing everything they can to not let us be self-contained or self, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. And, man, I have a newfound respect for the food I eat, and, you know, that whole difference of survival and being blessed with something that I'm very, very thankful for every day. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but.
Well, I'd say survival instincts would kick in very rapidly. It's kind of been alluded to, but say all the grocery stores were shut down, those instincts would arrive in days, if not hours, to make sure that you survive and to continue thriving. And it just absolutely, hands down, would not happen with vegetables. While everything in the refrigerators would rot, including plants, they will rot. For all the plant believers that they're still living, no, they rot just like animals do, and actually at a faster rate than animals do. Then your instincts will kick in and we'll go hunting and eat food. And suddenly this, you know, what's so shocking when Jonathan's eating raw meat would be normal. Just drain the animal and eat it.
You know, I quite often say that, like, just the thought experiment about being trapped on a deserted island. What would you be doing? Planting your broccoli crop or figuring out the fish? Like, you know, what the hell would you be doing? You know what I mean?
I mean, you can look at these. I don't know if you've seen a lot of these survival shows where people actually go and live out in nature, and what you see as a common thread is the people who are like vegetarians or whatever. They don't make it. They drop out pretty quickly unless they start eating animals. People realize really, really quickly you're not gonna survive out there if you're not willing to go hunting. for some real nutrition. And while I remember it, I just want to add that just to connect it to like this whole situation happening as well in this whole carnivore space is I see a very common like thing among the people who end up adding carbs and going off carnivore again. And that common thing is they're not viewing this as this is actually the way I'm supposed to eat because I'm a human. That's why it's working for people, right? It's not a coincidence or just because I cut out the junk food. It's working because that's what your biology is adapted to do, to run on that stuff.
You know, I just finished a challenge yesterday, 21 days with my clients, family, and friends, and there was about 21 of us. Some of them came right off from no low carb, nothing, just went right into beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And I'll tell you, man, that light bulb went off. It was awesome to see. About, you know, the 3 days in, they were like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this. 5 days in, I don't know if I can eat all this all the time. And then by 7, 8, 9 days, they're like, I want a steak. Interesting. It's really interesting. For the people that weren't carnivores, you know, some of them were low carb keto. Some of them were they've just been watching, and then they decided to do this. Unbelievable. And I mean, I'm trying to tell them, like, do you see that? Like, beyond what it is, it's that, you know, this is the human, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Wild. Yeah. And that's kind of, that's my goal here with this video, and also what I'm going to do going forward, which is pretty much this, but exploring other areas of civilizations, tribes, explorers, whatever it is, historic figures, which is I'm trying to lead people into realizing for themselves, almost like tricking people, I guess, into thinking, oh, I just realized this for myself, because I think that's the best way of making them understand or actually believe it, is putting it or like setting it up in a way where I'm not telling them the answer. I'm just giving the information, and you make of that what you will, right? At least you feel like you came to the realization that, oh, wait, this is how I'm supposed to eat because I'm human. But in reality, I'm the one leading you to the answer. I'm just not directly, I'm not directly like telling you. I'm just giving you very directed story to lead you to that realization is pretty much what my goal is, at least.
And I think all of you guys do that very well. I mean, I know Mark, you know, like your message is very strong and clear. And James, the best thing, you just exude this, live in it. Like, you are living it, and all your content, you're just, you know, this guy, you cannot argue with your vitality, my friend. Like, it's unbelievable.
Like, just take the shirt off, show, you know, is meat inflammatory? Just look at me. Just look at me. Am I inflamed?
Well, I agree with that, but I also love the haters. I always love that you all have the haters, and they're all, what they want to talk about is, oh, but look at your arms. I'm in such better shape. I eat just plants, and I'm strong. I'm you know, bigger than you. And I'm like, okay, there's bigger and there's optimal. There's functional, and Mark, you know this. You're in the gym for years and training people for decades, so you know this. But I'm like, there's optimal, there's functional, or there's oversized and just slow. So you're talking about the unnecessarily glycogen-filled and waterlogged muscles? Okay, you can have it. I don't want it at all. I'm gonna, you know, if we're talking about hunting and chasing, I'll eat first. You get scraps. Stay back. So I'll take, you know, I like to do a little flex all the time. I'll call my arm small you want. I'll be there first.
Bro, you know what? Never mind. I tell you what, your energy, like if you're just a layman looking at somebody like you on your content, and I just scroll by and I see it, the one thing that stands out is, look at this guy's like happiness. Like, look at this guy's vitality. I mean,
and everyone's always shocked when they hear James's age. That's something I noticed at Hack Your Health and outside of that as well.
James, how old are you?
38.
Yeah, you look a lot younger. I thought you were in your 20s.
Wow.
I'm pushing Santa out here, and you're like, you look like you just graduated high school, buddy. You're looking good, my friend.
Wow. Thank you. No, but it's definitely meat. I mean, if you've seen any before and afters, it's a big difference. Like you look at my before,
It is,
just
yeah.
over 2 years ago. Like it's not the same story.
No.
And I mean, Jonathan, you're like so important for this because man, it's so nice to see you get it. And like if the people that are your age could get half the information that you're putting out there, man, maybe at least they could come up with their own decisions, right? Like that's the thing that we get stonewalled all the time when someone says, you know, we all have conversations with friends, man. And like, I mean, it's like that conversation about, you know, stop eating bread, that cycle. Like, no, I'm not addicted to sugar. I'm not addicted to carbs. And it's like, you're programmed. And it's so nice to see you come out of this. And man, anything we can do to help you and your message, because buddy, I think you got something here and I love what you're doing. So let's continue. Are
Really
you guys all
appreciate
good for
that.
time?
Thank you.
Are you guys good
yeah.
for time?
All good.
We can, I mean, we're good to go. I mean, I got something I want Mark to see we want to talk about. So we'll get through this and we'll get to that. I promise.
Our diet was built around animal foods. Our stomach acid, digestive enzymes, teeth, nutrient requirements, hormones, brain structure, metabolism, and immune system are all adapted to that way of eating. When you switch the foundation from animal foods to grains and other plants,
anybody else curious to see what those taste like? Anyway,
a few things happen. The nutrient density drops, inflammation rises, insulin spikes more often, arteries stiffen, tooth decay increases, bones weaken, metabolism gets wrecked, hunger becomes unstable, and chronic disease shows up. And this isn't just theory. It's what we see every time humans switch to a plant-based diet.
Just look around at your local grocery store, man. Like that's all you have to do, buddy. Like that's like pointing that out. I hope people really that hits them because that was great.
You can't argue what's going on in the world at the moment. So I mean, you just need to look around. Everybody's sick. Everybody's sick.
But I mean, what I'm noticing as well with my new approach and how I'm trying to put this information together is, it seems like suddenly, where did the hate comments go? What are they gonna say? They are barely there anymore compared to before.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing there's actually the views have gone up, but the hate comments,
that makes one of us. Like, I mean, come on, I love it.
Yeah. But the hate comments, they're gone. Pretty much. I mean, there are some, but it's very, very limited compared to before. And I have a feeling maybe it's because there's nothing to argue with.
That's what I was going to say. How can they argue against it? There's nothing to argue against.
What are you going to say? This is irrefutable evidence.
Yeah.
And a good and a point there, Jonathan, too, is like this is why it's so important for all of us to unite and really, really hammer the message. Because in my opinion, I've seen this over the years, especially being in censorship world Canada. We need to get the message out as hard and as impactful as possible and support each other with this stuff because man, it's the odds are stacked against us. I'm not under any misconception that there's not some weirdness going on with algorithms and bot farms and all the propagandists. You know, even when we had Eddie Goki on, Mark, when he was talking about, you know, just our best friend Zane Griggs being bought and paid for by, you know, who knows? It's crazy. It's freaky.
Yeah, I think it's clear and obvious that through our experiences that eating meat is the way to proper health. I had a video that I posted yesterday, which on TikTok got flagged, which was describing the way we eat, basically in the foundation of healing from things such as even cancer. Obviously, type 2 diabetes, which I myself did, from mental struggles like depression, anxiety, which also I did. So you can go down. High blood pressure isn't forever. Obviously, these things don't run in the family. It's just in family habits or in food habits. And so I think it's very clear and obvious, like if we also think critically about the billions of dollars that have been raised for decades, year over year on cancer, yet we have no, advancement in improving that, that's clear and obvious to me that what's happening isn't working. Yet we have, and I'll just kind of wrap up this point here, yet we have so many carnivores who are healing from the most, quote, dangerous disease, which is cancer, the most incurable form, which is cancer. And somebody's, for example, back and forth with me on social media yesterday. And I said, look, where's your evidence for you to say this? Because on Instagram, the video is still posted. I said, well, how about you do some real evidence? There are so many thousands of Facebook groups. Go talk to a real carnivore on Facebook and get their actual life experimental evidence versus, and the response is, well, show me the study. You go find the study from the person who actually healed their cancer by eating meat with real medical intervention.
Yeah. And that's like the same point that I'm trying to make with this way of presenting this stuff is I don't care about your studies or whatever the expert said. It's right here, right? I don't need that stuff. The evidence is clear. Also, I want to comment on what was said in one of the comments here from Victoria, which is Zayn may or may not be getting paid. I believe he's never abandoned carbs. He's an addict trying to justify his habit. And actually, Zayn in comments on his own post has admitted to the fact that he never went under 100 to 150 grams of carbs, but he's still making videos where he's like, oh, I did carnivore and it didn't work for me. So he's actually just straight up lying. He's a phony. He's lying. So, but there was something else. Whatever.
Well, and and that's like to tie both of you guys together is, we say this on this show all the time, Mark, Peter, and I, is like, why aren't you looking? Does it matter how this guy did that? If he did it, it's possible. Why would you not listen to him? And who's to tell you when someone has done something that is impossible or done something so remarkable that it's like saved their life or, came out of like this path to redemption. And we sit there slagging him, trying to prove it that it's like, it's just luck or it's just him.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're battling for your life? You figure something out. You want to scream at the front of the Titanic. You're the king of the world, and someone goes, you're lucky. It's like
I just want to say, it's like when I hear vegans saying, oh, but I experienced the same thing. I believe them. I absolutely believe you.
Yeah.
I can't deny that happened, but I'm just arguing I don't think that's a good idea long term. I don't think it's gonna work for you in the long term. But I'm not gonna take your experience away from it. Of course it happened. Of course. I can't say it didn't. And also, I just remembered the other thing I was gonna say, which is you talked about the algorithm and stuff and how it suppresses certain things. And that's also what I've been conscious about with my shift is I think it's a good idea to try and adapt to what's happening, which is kind of what I'm protecting myself against now, because I'm not making claims about anything. I'm not making any personal claims. I'm just presenting historic data. That's all I'm doing. And then like take it as you will. I'm not making claims about anything. I'm just saying these people actually had diabetes. They had heart disease, and we have proof of that.
Science. I love what Carnivore Beats said in the comment, which is, I love the science in action. That's awesome. That's actually life. That's experience that nobody can argue against. And I want to talk through it's a lot of vegans, for example, who obviously believe in vegetables, and they want to call us the animal abusers, which is very false. It's an emotional excuse to go to the grocery store. And for the most part, vegan, and I like vegan because in a lot of ways it can intentionally be clean. It's the opposite of where carnivore is. But realistically, if it's not an animal food, it can still include processed foods. And so
they know that.
That combined with this wide array of foods, and then somebody said to me, well, the vegans have the most products, so that means it's better. I'm like, product is not food at all.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
mean, if you look at most animals in nature, they usually, even the ones who eat plants, they usually have 2 or 3, maybe some even just 1 plant that they can eat. The rest are super toxic to them.
You know, vegans need more supplements, so it's better.
Well, that too. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to, on that topic of supplements. I mean, so many, obviously vegans believe that, oh, I eat all vegetables and I don't need any supplements. I spend $0 on supplements. Okay. Well, number one, your 10 on 10 plants that make your salad, each of those is a supplement to make a whole. Okay. Number one. Number two, those are fortified with vitamins and minerals, which makes it a supplement. So yes, you have spent a lot of time and money and eating on supplements. Just because it doesn't come into a powder or a pill doesn't make it not a supplement.
Yes, I agree. I mean, that's just, it's the ridiculousness that they pitch to, like, you know, it's undeniable. And we just look at it. That's a whole other podcast. We're gonna have you guys back, and we can dismantle it. Let's get through this one. But I
just want to make one quick comment, which is, I would actually say, in my opinion, the thing that's actually morally, or the thing that's actually immoral, is depriving yourself of proper nutrition, and for humans, that's meat.
Yeah. Okay, and if you want to deprive yourself, don't preach that deprivation on your kids and other humans. That's probably even worse, right? Like, once you start, we gotta calm them. Like, man, we could go for probably a day about this stuff.
Here's the simple truth. The Egyptian diet looked a lot like the food pyramid, and the Egyptian health outcomes look a lot like modern society. Meanwhile, the humans who lived closest to nature had better health than almost anyone alive today. Build your diet on what humans are biologically designed to eat, not what modern guidelines tell you to eat, because history makes the pattern obvious. And if you want more videos,
Jonathan, fantastic, buddy. Like,
Brilliant.
Right on, man. It hits.
Thank you
hits
so much.
Hard, so many levels. And, you know, now it's our job, everybody, to share this. Share Jonathan's videos. Share it with people that might not realistic. And, you know, if you're into any kind of ancient civilizations or history, this ties into that. And it's you know, what I was, man, awesome job, buddy. And I love the direction you're going. I know we can see that, you know, how you're evolving and going, and it's great to be able to have you on and talk about it too, which is great job, buddy. Great job. Boys, I want to talk about actually something that it's kind of funny that we were talking about this, and now, because we're not afraid of the controversy, Mark sent me a video, and I was like, kind of don't understand how this works either. We're going to get into it. I want to get all your thoughts. The chat's probably going to light up. I know you guys are going to be like, this is what it's all about. That's why we do this. So let's see what this is, and we will get into it.
25 watermelon only. So I was in the hospital. Okay, so I went in to the doctor and they checked my blood and it was like 250 something. And that was right before I got on watermelon. And then my blood sugar was only 100. So it went down.
Wow. Pay attention to how they're moving and how it cuts. I believe this is an AI created video. This is not real. You can already see it.
Like over 100 points in 25 days on watermelon only. Man, I'm like, man, that's crazy. And then I get done with the watermelon, right? Then I hop on juices. I was on day 14 on juices and people was like, bro, you're gonna raise your blood sugar, you're gonna raise your blood sugar. So what I did, I went on Amazon, got the stuff to check your blood sugar. So I prick your fingers, check it in the thing. Day 14, I checked. My blood sugar was in normal ranges, so it was like 95 or something like that. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. And I checked it live, like I was recording, I had the thing, pricked my finger, showed the blood.
Now, I'm not comparing apples to apples, no pun intended, but look at that guy's life vitality compared to every single one of James's videos ever. Every single one of Jonathan's videos ever. pricking my finger, like marks, like every single one of his videos. Like just okay, sure, okay, but we'll get.
And I didn't cut it or nothing. And I showed, I said, look, you know, I'm excited too. I'm on day 50, day 60, doing juice only. You need to check your A1C, you know, you need to check your A1C. My A1C used to be at 7. Day 60, I go check my A1C at the doctor. It's a 5, so it's normal. So everything just, everything just kept dropping. So that's not true that fruit is.
Okay. Let's.
Hey, can I comment on the actual thing though, with him
Yeah.
eating just like a bunch of sugar and having that HbA1c?
Yeah.
Because to me, it's pretty obvious what's happening. First of all, you're not mixing fats and sugar, so you're not like spiking or like upregulating the Randall cycle. So, which means the sugar's actually going to make it into the cells instead of getting pushed into your blood. Which is like the whole insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance, whatever you want to call it. Basically, that problem goes away either if you're having only carbs or only fats. Kind of, just to explain it simply. And also, you have another issue, which is HbA1c. That test, like, it assumes the lifespan of red blood cells. So when you're glycating them to shit with a bunch of sugar, they're dying early, which means they're leaving, and then it's going to artificially look lower.
If anybody wants an explanation of that, go check out our interview, our podcast with Stephen Thomas. He just lays that all out on the table for sure.
Yeah. And then third, I want to say there's a bunch of fructose in there, and HbA1c, that test does not account for fructose.
Yeah. Well,
I think, go ahead, James.
Thank you. I was going to give another life experience here, and this is directly tied to my father, who is no longer on this earth, who was a type 2 diabetic, and those who fed him and the way he ate was this way. And in life, you cannot argue the experiment. He was juicing and eating fruits, and that was and plants, and that was what was told what would heal the type 2 diabetes. He is no longer here anymore. It did not work. It did not improve. It only worsened.
I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
It's not about, I appreciate that. It's not about sorry, though. It's about reinforcement.
Get the message out there. Yeah.
Sure. And that's the thing that I think we got to be very careful and scary about. Like, you know, okay, maybe this guy did, maybe, but where's the nutrition? Where's the 5 years from now? Where's it? Like, what are you gonna do? How Steve Jobs? How'd that go for you, buddy? Like, how's that fruitarian like?
And recently there was this 27-year-old Polish girl who was fruitarian, and she dropped dead.
Yeah. And see, that's the problem right there, isn't it? It's like you don't mind these people coming out with these statements, but if it works for you, happy days. But don't start spreading it on social media, because it's not going to work for everybody else.
Well, coming from a guy who's reversed his pre-diabetes, I did not do that. I had nothing to do with sugar, actually, and it reversed just fine. And I think I hope I'm a little bit more robust than that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm eating protein and fat, man. It's like, no, this is the scary part. And what you mentioned, Jonathan, too, is we've got a new world ahead of us, and it's the deep fake bullshit. And because Mark sent a video, and he's like, I'm suspicious. Like, that was his comment to me. And that's why I wanted to bring it out here, because I was right away, I was like, like, that bottom guy does not look human. He does not look real, for one.
But if you look at the cuts on the guy on the top as well, like, it doesn't match at all.
No, it doesn't.
Like, yeah.
Well,
and now,
excuse me. Go ahead.
Are we going to have bot farms and all these deep fakes to deal with now too in our beautiful, flourishing carnivore community? It's scary.
Yeah. Well, I was also going to add to the fruitarian concept or ideology, because I was once there as well, like many of us, constantly hungry and eating and spending a lot of money on overpriced fruits. Anyhow, that aside, fruits aren't readily available year round. Easy. You know, you want to say I ate watermelons every day for a year. That's not natural at all. You know, when you want to eat, it would even say kale. It's not natural year round at all. So you'd have to be changing up your foods regionally and seasonally. I know I said that recently, and that's a combination, a power punch that really hammers home. This is not natural for humans.
Yeah.
And James, what's the function of those fruits and berries for humans in the wild?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have
to fatten us up for winter.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
To spread their species and to spread the plant species, right? Like it's to propagate, right? But I mean, you got a good point there, James, too. It's like I often I say this all the time to people, at least local seasonal. Like you have to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
Jonathan's climate isn't the same as James and Mar. Like we're all in different places, man. And I can't. And the freaky thing is I could probably get strawberries imported from Miami cheaper than I could get any fruit in where I'm at in Vancouver. It's scary. It's disgusting.
Yeah. But I mean, James, you have pointed out before as well that you're even in like a tropic area. And many people try to claim that, these fruits and berries, they are available all year round. But you've pointed out many times, I'm living there, and it's not like that, right? And it's this, and like here in Norway as well. And like it's very easy for me to go into just untouched nature, very easy. It's pretty much right outside my doorstep, and when I go there. What am I gonna pick? What am I gonna like? The option I have is grab a fishing rod, or go look for like a deer or something. I mean, seasonally, yes, a few weeks out of the year there are some rare. They're very rare to find. Some blackberries, maybe they're so small. Some wild strawberries, some wild blueberries or bilberries as they're called. They are there, yes, but they're so tiny. It's insane, and they're not even particularly sweet. They're pretty sour, actually, and there's not much of it when you find them. And usually, other animals have already taken them because birds are more specialized to go grab that stuff before us. For example,
and I think you did a good video about that one time, Jonathan. If I remember correctly, you're like the old school carrots, or like the ancient carrots, and stuff. Like, come on, man, it does not look appetizing. There's no way.
Yeah, and also another point, like that I just remembered, which is like a video I made as well because I filmed it. It's right here around me. There's what is it called? Bittersweet nightshade. That's what it's called. When you look at this thing, it looks delicious. It looks it's almost like seducing you by just the way it looks. But when you go look into it, it's deadly.
It sounds very nourishing,
Yeah. So just because it looks very appetizing and sounds nourishing, or no, it doesn't. Bittersweet, or no, but it looks like something like, oh, that's so sweet and good for me, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It doesn't mean it's there to actually attract you. It's there to attract birds.
Yeah.
I would also say, as you alluded to, Jonathan, living in Miami, Florida, which is closer to the equator. Yes, very clearly and observationally, there are not many fruits out at all right now. And we want to talk about one of the popular fruits here are mangoes. They fall in the middle of the summer. But let's just be clear, once these fruits fall, they have maximum like a 2-day to 3-day lifespan before they start rotting. A lot of them are already, like you alluded to, eaten by animals before they even fall from the tree. And to compound on that, it's not like every single plot, square foot, I'll use the American term or metric, that every square foot isn't built with fruit trees. Yeah. So they're far and in between. And the same thing with even berries, like going through, berries get ripe maybe in the fall here as well. Like to get an actual handful of berries would take hours of picking. It's just not feasible.
And not to mention, how many mangoes could you possibly eat in one sitting? Like real mangoes. How many mangoes? Line them up. Let's go. 12 mangoes in a row. Like mango chops. I don't think so.
And then, as we talked about, if you just compare them to how they actually look in nature, even if we did consume those things, which we probably did to a certain degree if we got it, because any animal in the wild will grab whatever they can just to increase their chance of survival. You have, I think you can find videos of lions drinking milk from other animals, but that's like, there's a difference between what's like actually optimal, what you need to be optimal, and what you're actually meant to eat, and what a wild animal is willing to do just for the sake of survival, right? Because obviously we're going to do anything we can to survive, and that's why I think if you're starving, of course you're gonna go dig up some roots to get something, to get some. Even like wolves do that as well, and wolves are considered carnivores, but they actually, I mean, and as I said in the video we watched, they actually rank lower on the stable isotope testing than us. So why are they carnivores, but we're not?
Exactly.
And like the you know, the omnivore term as well, that's not that term is based on behavior. It's not based on like what's actually biologically indicated for your species. It's not about what's optimal, it's about behavior.
It's a term we use to describe something, not what it is, right? Like, and it's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Like meal times, man. Like, who said you have to eat lunch? Who said that? You know,
Right.
like,
Exactly.
I'm sure we're hunting and gathering, and it's like, oh, noon, the sun's over there on my sundial. Family, let's go out of the cave.
Yeah.
We're having lunch. Like,
Right.
no, I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't think so.
I mean, there are so many aspects here you can look at, and like I'm doing now, like the history, and then you can just look at the biological facts. Even just go look at how biochemically it affects us and everything. There's like, I mean, you can even go to the type of insulin humans produce. You know, they had to synthesize an entirely different type of insulin when they started manufacturing it, because human insulin, regular human insulin as it's called, matches the spike or like whatever the bump you get from fat and protein. It doesn't work with what you get from carbs. So people were actually having massive issues when they were taking the human insulin, because at that time people were eating carbs.
Yeah.
If I may, I have a comment about modern insulin. I think it's a great invention, but it's primarily an excuse for our metabolic unhealth today. Instead of fixing the issue at a root cause, we have continued to eat into the issue as a whole and have used insulin to perpetuate. And I think that's a very off topic for many people to hear, but realistically, the only way to not have the requirement for added insulin injection is to reduce the sugar spikes and reduce the insulin spikes. And to be clear, for those who are questioning, insulin spikes and elevated insulin are two very different things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Insulin is not an enemy. It's actually very, very, very extremely important for your body.
And it's too bad Peter wasn't here, because he's a type 1 diabetic, so his take on it, it's crazy. But James, from your, I understand, like, that's totally true, especially in the type 2. I wish I had this post, Mark, that I saw. I think it was Sean Baker put this out, and this doctor was screaming out about these GLP-1 things, saying, oh, don't be so hard on people that are obese. The worst thing the doctors can be doing is shaming them. And it's like, holy crap. Like, everybody just calm down. Like, what we're trying to say is not, it's not the why, man. It's the how. And I mean,
hey, I'm going to say something really controversial on that topic, or on that point.
Do it.
Some people may not like this, but I'm going to say it anyway, which is, I think we should bring back public shaming. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, other cultures, societal cultures do that. And I do think it's helpful in a lot of ways. I think it's being accountable.
To a degree, at least.
Yeah, I think it's holding us accountable. And I also want to say something on the same lines of being somewhat controversial is I'll make somewhat of a joke out of it, is tell me we have an obesity problem without telling me we have an obesity problem. Because everybody is taking these GLP-1s.
Yeah.
Yet no one wants to admit that there's, elevated or growing obesity globally. Yet, hey doc, can you slip me a prescription for this GLP-1? Hey, look everybody, I'm getting lean.
But I mean, James, obviously these hunter-gatherers, right? They were obviously just deficient in GLP-1s and everything in these millions of years they walked around.
Exactly.
they were deficient in GLP-1s.
Exactly.
That's the thing that comes back down to the genetic argument. Like, okay, what percentage of the population theoretically would be genetically obese? Well, we're blowing past that. Okay, so unless we're de-evolving, it's like, I don't know how you guys were in school, but there was a couple fat kids. They were like really fat. There was not a classroom full of fat kids. It was just wasn't happening. And now it's like, is that genetics? I don't think so. If we can't have a serious conversation about things might have been affected in our modern day, well, that's take your Ozempic, because that's pretty much.
Hey, you asked. Wait. That was me.
Hey. Well, I was chunky too, man. I couldn't see. I could never in my life. I'm 50 now, and I can see my abs. But I guess I'm just genetically blessed that in my late 40s, I just got never in my life. And Mark, I know you feel the same way about that. Like, this proves that it's not genetics. I mean, it might be anecdotal, but it's good.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Boys, I had a great time today, man. I think we probably should wind it up. I want to give you guys your evenings and afternoons to I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out. I had a blast. Sorry Peter couldn't be here, because I think he would have loved to be on this one. But before we say goodbye, James, tell us what's going on with you and where people find you, and if there's anything coming down the pipes in your world.
Yeah, well, I am on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as all the same, which is at Jameseatscarnivore, one word. And that's just really a microcosm of my life. It expands well into a lifestyle. And I love Joel, that carnivore man's post the other day, which is confidence is a chemical balance. And I haven't heard that phrase before, but I believe it because we're eating properly. So I like to, just to wrap it up quickly, is I like to, on my posts, share within 15 to 20 seconds something that most people agree as mainstream knowledge and try to just quickly debunk it. And then throw out a yell or a roar of carnivore, because that's what it is. We are finding healing and health eating meat alone, and nobody can challenge that. And I just love that about our lifestyle. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. And we'll save that your trademark for the end, because I'm gonna throw it over to you, because we need one of those for the show.
I was gonna say I was sitting here waiting for him to do that.
No. Wait, save it, you guys. Everybody's got to stick around.
I love it. It will always bring a huge smile to my face when I see that. I love it so much.
Jonathan, what about you, man? What's your direction? How do people get a hold of you?
No, yeah, I mean, I've sort of, I think I've explained my sort of direction. I'm focusing on, instead of talking about all the carbs and fiber and whatever, all these things everyone else is talking about. I think there's enough people talking about that aspect. I'm taking a step back, not always looking forward to the next controversy, the next fight, whatever, the next article, the next study. I'm taking a step back and looking back into history instead, exploring what we can learn from that. And now I have this Egypt thing, what I'm working on now. I just started right after I posted that thing. I decided I'm gonna look at the Mongols, which is completely different story. Very interesting.
Excellent.
They even fun fact about them. There's historical writings about them just laughing in the faces of grain eaters.
Yeah.
Because they're eating the food of slaves. So, but yeah, so on social media, I now go by Ancestral Clarity. So you can find me there. I'm always happy to connect and chat with anyone, and I look forward to all this journey together with everyone. Yeah.
Awesome, buddy. And Mark, anything to say to these guys, and where do people find you?
Well, lads, I have to say, it's great sitting in the back and just listening for once. Like, I learned an awful lot from you two today. So honestly, it was an absolute pleasure having you guys on. And we'll definitely have to have you on again. As Tony mentioned earlier, there's many other topics that we could definitely cover. So yeah, we definitely like to have you back on again in the future if you'd be interested. And if guys want to reach out to me, I'm on social media at Fitness Beyond Time 01. And if you want to reach out to me and you want to be interviewed by myself, Tony, and Peter, you can send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com.
And of course, I will say it because we love her. Victoria and Mark do the Carnivore Evolution podcasts, interviewing great. They do the story side, and they get people intimate and interactive. Check them out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify now. The meat of the matter is, we could say it graduated, maybe. I don't know what that means, but you know what? We're on Spotify. So if you're not here, go to Spotify and check us out. Anyway, like Jonathan, I've had a little bit of a rebrand, refocus on my stuff on my channel. I agree with Jonathan. I think there's a lot of people in this space that do a really good job. I'm trying to figure out my own place, and I think I'm taking more of the spiritual sort of mindset, ancestral approach, where I'm going to get into some stuff. And I've started a truth stream on Tuesdays, and Jonathan was there last Tuesday. Thank you. Because I just was like, nope, I'm just going to do it. So we're going to talk. And it's funny, when you put out your video, I was like, we could have talked about it on the truth stream. But anyway, the Tuesdays, it's just...
Hey, let's do that one day.
We could. Yeah. We will. But the Tuesdays is to go deeper into the nonsense and the bullshit that we're all sort of afraid to talk about. And you know what? All of us are dealing with some sort of censorship in our countries. I'm going to talk about it until I can't. And that's kind of where I put it. Like, you know what? Canada, come get me. So that's Tuesdays. If anybody's interested in coming and hanging out, this week we're going to talk about Pinocchio. That's right. It's not what you think it is. And we're going to get deep into the story and the history of Pinocchio. And it kind of ties into food, unbelievably. So anyway, come check that out. And if you want to get a hold of us, get a hold of me. It's at TonyStewartCoaching.com. We are starting a newsletter for this podcast for that. And it will a chance to keep updated with everybody and what the meat of the matter is doing. So you can sign up for that at TonyStewartCoaching.com. We want to thank the carnivore community worldwide. All you guys are doing, in my opinion, God's work, having real conversations, real carnivores doing real things. So if you don't know who they are, or you don't know what's going on, share it with somebody that does, or the other way around, I think that might be. Anyway, make sure that you're following them, supporting them, because this is important. This is very important that we unite the clans and come together in this space, because, it's beautiful. And I really do appreciate James and Jonathan for coming on. Peter, we miss you. Mark, I love you. Byron, check out Carnivore Beats on YouTube. And hopefully I didn't miss anything. We're going to have to start writing things down, man. This is, or eating more fat. Have a great Sunday, everybody. We love you, and we appreciate all the comments, and keep them coming. We'll see you next week. Thank you, guys. Love you.
Bye-bye.